Welcome back to another video. If you hold Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, I would definitely recommend watching until the end because this one will be definitely interesting. And no, we won't be just drawing on the charts and trying to predict where the price of Bitcoin will go. Actually, you know what? We will do some of that as well. But the primary topic of this video will be based more on politics because there has been a lot of political revelations specifically about Bitcoin and crypto over the past few days. Now, all of you know about the Trump remarks. You've seen it everywhere. I think everybody's getting it wrong in terms of how they are analyzing the situation. So I took a couple of days to research libertarianism as a whole, the ideology behind being a liberal. And you may say, okay, what does that have to do with Bitcoin? Well, it turns out it has everything to do with Bitcoin, to a point where Bitcoin itself has been built on fundamentals of libertarianism. And looking at polling data, the current liberal candidate, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has 10% of the entire election polls. So this is a motif and a big one for President Trump to go to a libertarian convention, deliver a speech where he talks about Bitcoin to be targeting these people. But we will get into it in a lot more detail. It's super interesting. It goes into the cases with, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, Ross Ulbricht, of course. So it's pretty cool. We'll jump into it in a second, but let's go over the price of Bitcoin first. Make sure to leave a like on this video though. That would be very much appreciated. But looking on the 4-hourly time frame, Bitcoin is converging and there's not much volatility. The reason for this low Bitcoin volatility comes from the fact that we got a couple of bearish economic news over the past 48 hours. The Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen mentioned that we could be expecting, or we should be expecting, higher rates for a longer amount of time. And Fed's Kashkari even said that we shouldn't forget about a scenario where rate hikes are possible. And that scared people. And now the stock market is debating whether we should have a small correction or should we continue to rally. And that's what's holding back Bitcoin. The value of the dollar, hence, is also rocketing. We're trying to form a head and shoulders pattern, but it may get invalidated. I spoke about this on the Moon Show before this huge green candle, that we're getting a Dixie bullish crossover on the MACD. The last time we got a bearish crossover, I warned you guys and said that, look, the Dixie will probably have a drop, and that will likely cause the price of Bitcoin to go up. Now the inverse could be happening with the bearish economic sentiment. So I'm a bit concerned here. And Bitcoin, if we fall below this orange support range, it won't be nice, because if we do fall, then the next support, I would say the most very important support, would be the 30-period moving average that has been holding us in the parabola ever since October of last year. But I am still in my bull case scenario. My indicators, my oscillators are telling me to be bullish because we have good consensio, good parabolic SAR, Bollinger Bands are squeezing. We should be having that one final leg up in our parabola. So everything is telling me to be bullish, stochastic RSI, bullish crossover, etc. I should be bullish. I'm just a little bit cautious. I am all in into my Bitcoin positions. There's no change there. I'm just saying we need to be careful of the 30 SMA. If we do not fall below it, then Bitcoin will, in my opinion, reach the 90K target. That is written in the books. Given the Bollinger Band squeeze, we're going to get a huge move. Whether it's going to be up or down, it will all be dependent on this 30 SMA from my perspective. But look, if we can break above the upper Bollinger Band here, 72K, I will literally take out my wallet and see whatever left cash I have and just funnel that into Bitcoin. Because breaking the upper Bollinger Band will mean that we get another significant move like these two ones that we saw in October and after February. But that pretty much concludes my Bitcoin analysis. Now I want to go to the most exciting part, and this was a chart that I found from McDonald's, because just to demonstrate inflation, I mean, in the last 10 years, you can see a McChicken going up almost 200% in value, whereas CPI is sitting at like 3.4 or 3.5%. Like, it just does not make sense. Going into the Trump remarks, so this is where it gets interesting. Now, before I tell you any of this, I want to give you context on one particular data point, and that is the US presidential general election polling data. We can see that 41.1% is for Trump, 39.9% is for Biden, and 9.9% is Kennedy. Trump is the Republican candidate, Biden is the Democrats candidate, and Kennedy is the Libertarian candidate. So now that you know this information, then this will make a lot more sense to you. So we had a couple of very famous clips go online, specifically this one where President Trump in the convention mentions that I will ensure the future of crypto and Bitcoin is shaped in the USA. I will support the right to self-custody for the nation's 50 million crypto holders. Another one was that he will free Ross Ulbricht. Now, tearing this quote or tearing these couple of quotes apart, we can zoom in onto I will support the right to self-custody because this is a constitutional issue, and constitutional issues that support free market, less government intervention, these apply to conservatives and libertarians. Freedom of ownership, owning your assets, etc. That is a libertarian ideology and its fundamentals. So this phrase right here applies to conservatives, which is his party, or I'm saying conservatives because I do UK politics at the same time, but conservatives are Republicans. So this here applies to his own party and to libertarians at the same time. And then he says, nation's 50 million crypto holders. Now he's very much aware of the fact that 50 million people in the US hold cryptocurrencies, of which 38 million are adults that can vote. And that's just a very, very important metric because in such a close election, any vote will literally count. So him going to a libertarian convention to get some votes off of Kennedy and saying libertarian ideologies and pushing them like Bitcoin, crypto, self-custody, etc., was the kind of incentive for him to go there, say those things, and get as many votes as possible. And I think he did. I was looking through crypto Twitter, speaking to my friends, and they want to switch their vote to Trump. Another mind-blowing thing he said was that he wants to free Ross Ulbricht if he becomes president. Now, this is where I was like, okay, now I need to be a little bit more subtle with my bullishness inside. Because President Trump, after I saw this specifically, that he wants to also pardon Julian Assange. President Trump, in his previous campaign, he was for Julian Assange, and then when he became president, he was the sole person that was being very aggressive to the case. And now him saying that he wants to pardon Assange, it feels like he just wants to get votes. And that's making me skeptical about the entire situation with what he's talking about Bitcoin too, because we need to remember, these people are politicians. They will promise to get votes, but after they become president, will they do what they say? That is always a question mark. But what is not a question mark, in my opinion, is that if we have a Republican administration, it will be better for crypto as a whole compared to a Democrat administration. The SEC will, the chair of the SEC or the commissioner will probably be changed, and we will have much, much more eased regulations for the cryptocurrency space where the kind of development of Bitcoin and crypto will probably prevail in the US, as he talks about here on Truth Social, saying that the cryptocurrency industry is a bourgeoising industry, meaning it's growing, it's emerging, it's getting bigger. He also said that he wants to explore Bitcoin to address US national debt. Again, another big kind of problem people in the US have. Apart from this, he also said that he wants to put Elon Musk as an advisor. So yes, these are all great things, but I think he's just playing for the vote. That's kind of my interpretation of what's going on here. But as I said, I think if he does go to office, definitely better for Bitcoin and cryptos as a whole. And this raises another question. Will Trump be able to go back to office? Because he has 88 different felony counts on him, or 88 different felony charges on him. So the question of if he will get indicted and will he be potentially arrested before going to the election, that's also something to think about. And you know, I've asked a few friends, something that he will, something that he don't, but I think there is a lot of pressure to not get him into office. And at that point, then all of these kind of promises goes into the bin. And we would have to see what happens next. It would be an interesting election. But let's go into the breaking news for crypto. I don't want to hold you for too much longer. I need to go to sleep because tomorrow I'm going to Bloomberg, and I'll try my best to use their studio for a video because they have the most incredible studio possible. So I will try my best. Stay tuned. But the breaking news is yesterday we got some movement of Bitcoin on Mt. Gox. Now, Mt. Gox is one of the first, if not first, crypto exchange that allowed you to buy Bitcoin and sell Bitcoin. And a lot of the people that bought Bitcoin there, they're up like 100x or something from their initial purchase. And the issue was a lot of the customers were not able to get their funds back. And it looks like within this year, they will be doing so. And this FUD about Mt. Gox, it comes and goes so many times in the crypto space. If you're here for at least a year, you would know the FUD cycle with Mt. Gox. A lot of people thought that this crypto would be given to the people immediately. That caused some FUD about some potential selling pressure. But the former CEO has said that the funds will be given back most likely sometime this year, but not in the immediate future. Talking about funds being given back to people, Gemini Earn users will also be able to get their crypto back, which is another incredible piece of information. And we can see that BlackRock finally flipped. The flippening happened between BlackRock and Grayscale. BlackRock officially holds more Bitcoin in their ETF AUM compared to Grayscale. But yeah, guys and girls, that ends off today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. It was short and sweet. So take care, guys, and bye-bye.